My name is Jeff St. Laurent. This is the live Tuesday call, and we got a good group of people on. Had a little conversation with them beforehand. So as always, thank you guys for calling in live, and for those of you, of course, that listen to the recordings, I always appreciate that as well. Before we get rolling on today's topic, which is how to make the last month of your year the biggest, I just want to go over a few things. As I said, I do record the calls, and I post them all in my university on my website, sellingcoaching.com. So go ahead, check that out. Go to the university. Got great information there. Additionally, on sellingcoaching.com, right on the homepage, there's a great resource for you. I call it the Ultimate Startup Guide for Coaches. It's where you kind of see me bribing you with my dog and giving him away, but really it's for that ultimate free guide. So if you haven't gotten that yet, please check that out. And I say please because I've gotten great feedback from that, and it's a really good resource for you. It's an audio and also a PDF resource that goes along with that. That also will put you in my email community. And not only so you can know what's going on, I put out great emails every week, education, tips, also notifying you of the call that I do on Tuesdays, obviously, but also you get a really good opportunity to see how I use email to stay in touch and communicate with my audience. Email is a huge piece of our business. If you don't have an email list or let's say email community and utilize it, then you don't have a business because you can't communicate with your people, and we need that to stay in touch with them. And then lastly, at the top of my website, sellingcoaching.com, I've got a link to check out my private Facebook group. We have a great group of coaches over there, and it's a great platform for interacting, getting to know each other a little bit better, but also an opportunity for you to kind of share some of your content that you do in a video or written format, and obviously ask any questions and things like that. So love to see you over there. And now we're going to get rolling, and we're moving into the last month of the calendar year. And the reason why I wanted to do this topic now is, especially even with my mentor coaching clients, the coaches that I interact with just online and so forth and so on, and just people in general, as we get closer to the holidays, people tend to slow down, and they also tend to slow down, but they also tend to really think that like, oh, well, everyone else is so busy, they're not going to want to do anything, or, they don't have time for anything. And I used to have the same mentality. Like I used to use it as an opportunity to take some downtime, and I'm not saying, hey, don't take the opportunity to take some downtime. Hey, when it's a holiday, when you get the days off, it's like, yeah, take some downtime. I don't want you working on the holidays. Be with your family and your friends. Do the thing, do the holidays, and have your time. But when you're not doing that, especially when you're not, we have more days off than usual. So make sure when you are actually having the days where you can work, really put in that time. And so I want to teach you how to maximize the time that we do have, and also maximize the time. And I'll say it's kind of that 3.5 weeks or so between, at least in the U.S., if you're listening to this, between our Thanksgiving and if you celebrate Christmas, it's Hanukkah in there and lots of different holidays, but between after Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then New Year's, in that time, that's a really, really sweet spot, because the reality is you have to think about it like this, is that people, they're looking for gifts, right? They're looking for things, depending on what they celebrate, but they're looking for things. At the end of the year and the holiday time, it's for a lot of people, it's sad, it's depressing, because they've lost loved ones, or they don't have loved ones, or they're going through hard times, and they want to be happy, they want to celebrate, but can I say it like this? It's more in their face, right? Because, there's Christmas music playing, and everyone's happy, and we're grateful for this, and blah, blah, blah. And people that don't have that, right, it's, how are you going to feel, and people that don't have loved ones, et cetera. So when I say it's an opportunity, I'm not saying, we're taking opportunity of these misfortunate situations, but I want you to be able to see this as a time where a lot of emotions are coming up for people, and some great, wildly positive ones and happy times, and also some very not so great times, etc. And also with the new year, obviously it's a great reevaluation of that. Also, when people are looking for gifts and things like that, they're not only looking for gifts, but then they're also thinking about what do I want, what do I need. And it's not just a tangible, I need a new outfit, or I need a new car, or I need new shoes, or whatever. It's that, but it's also they tend to reevaluate their lives and look at their lives and reflect on what's going on in their world, right? And the reason I bring all this up is because And sometimes it's like, yeah, of course we think about that, but how deep do we really think about like this as an opportunity time for us as coaches? Because as coaches, like we're the people that ask the questions. We facilitate these changes. We facilitate the accountability. We facilitate the thought by asking the questions, right, and by being detached from the outcomes. And this is a time where people need that more than ever. And it's also a time where people tend to, it's very easy to focus outside of themselves on other people, but at the same time, it's a very introspective, reflective place where they do think about themselves. A lot of people just don't tend to do anything about that. But what I've also found is that when I've been, I'll call this more aggressive, like I want you to be aggressive year-round, right? So when I say aggressive, not pushy, not going down that road, a pushy salesperson type of thing, but just be aggressive in your business. Go after it. Go after it. That's part of my message today is like, don't sit back. Never sit back. Be the athlete. I come from an athletic background, a fitness background, health and fitness industry for 20 years or so, personal training and stuff like that. And whether you're an athlete or not, it doesn't have to be in your blood, so to speak, but whether you work out or not, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying be aggressive and go after it and chase business. And when I say business, it's more of creating conversations and talking to people and getting in front of people. The name of our game, if you will, our business, is getting in front of people. That's it. That's all it is. When I say grow a business, if you're a student of mine, you've heard me say this many times, right? My definition of growing a business is growing your audience. It's not making more money. Yes, that's part of it. Obviously, we want to monetize it. We want to make money from this. Absolutely. That's why it's a business. But the point is the only way we're actually going to be able to do that is by growing an audience. How do we grow an audience? We got to get in front of people. So that's why I say be aggressive, go after it, chase people. Is chase people down, get in front of people, and that's where I want to go today. Is starting to look at is like where do we go there? A couple of you were asking about in the beginning when you call in live, people get to ask questions. And they're talking about, getting that focus. And that's an important piece to talk about. I'm not going to, elaborate too much on focus and why it's important, because obviously if we don't have that, we're not able to get things done. But especially around this time for us, as coaches. And honestly, it's holiday time. Yes, absolutely, because, okay, maybe more friends, more family are coming over, more events, more preparatory stuff going on. People have more time off, so maybe people are home more than usual. So therefore, especially if you're a coach and you're quote trying to work from home, it can be especially challenging, especially if you're not really doing it full time and people aren't used to you doing it, and you're still kind of in that kind of launching your business phase or kind of doing it phase. The reality is we got to start looking for and setting some boundaries with that. But this is year-round, I hear, with coaches, but especially on the holidays. So in order to get that focus, the biggest strategies I can give you for that is you really got to be clear and set your boundaries. I always talk to people about treating your business like a job. And if you have a job in 9 to 5, it's like you show up at 9 and you leave at 5. You hopefully you don't show up many minutes later than 9, if you will, and hopefully, most likely, you don't have to stay many minutes longer than 5. Like you show up on time, you leave on time, and that's the way it goes, unless you're overworked and they keep you there longer. But the reality of it is that I want you to do the same in your business. But also when you go to a job, you go to your job. You don't go to your job and then just kind of like surf the internet. Well, maybe you do. But you don't just, okay, I'm going to do some laundry. You focus, and that's what we need here. And the only way we can do that in a home environment is to set some really clear boundaries and to completely reinforce them, and not in a mean way, and not in an aggressive way, but just being very clear, having conversations with the necessary people. With kids, sometimes it can be hard, especially if you're the only parent in the house. Kids are home and they've got days off from school, and I know the feeling, right? But same thing with mine when he's home and I'm working. It's like I'm very clear about those boundaries of coming in my office. And it's taken time over time, especially as he's grown. He's 11 now, but I've been doing this since he was born, especially as a little kid. But it's very important to whoever's in your home to really set those boundaries, be clear with them, and create a strategy. And if something's not working and you're really consistent about it, then you got to create some other strategies, get some other people involved, maybe get the other people out of the house. Maybe you've got to remove yourself from the house, find a library, find a Starbucks, find something with an internet connection, take a laptop, a tablet, or whatever, your phone, do your work from there. You can get it done. Maybe it's not the most ideal environment for you, but you can still get it done. In other words, we're not making excuses. We're being aggressive. We're going after it, and we're finding ways. We're working within the environment and circumstances and say, hey, you know what? Circumstance is not a matter of whether I'm going to be successful or not. It's a matter of conscious choice. Maybe I don't have the most ideal circumstances, but I can choose beyond that, and I can create it, and I can allow it to happen. So that's what I'm going to say there is in setting those boundaries. And then the last piece, I'll say that in order to keep your focus, and this is year-round too especially, but it's making sure you uphold the boundaries. So all of a sudden you're very clear with the people in your home that, hey, when I'm in my office, I'm in my office. I'm going to my office for the next 2 hours. I don't exist. I'm not here. You know, literally, if the house is burning down, just leave the house. I'll hear the smoke alarm and I'll leave. In other words, I don't exist. But it's important you follow those boundaries. So if now an hour later or 30 minutes later you're downstairs and you're socializing or you're getting something to the fridge, and the next thing you know you're talking to the kids or you're talking to your spouse, it's like, well, here you are saying, you know, here's what I'm doing, and now you're kind of breaking your own boundaries. And so you're kind of showing them that, hey, it's really not that important, right? So those are probably the biggest things that allow it. So once you create that space, you know, and then you're in your office, that's another thing. How do you stay focused in there? And the easiest way to do that is you've got to have something in front of you. You've got to have something you're going after. You have a clear path. You got to have a clear plan and know what you're doing. With any entrepreneur, including myself, I know when I haven't had a clear plan or something in front of me that was like driving me forward, it's like I'm not going to be focused, right? If I don't have that in front of me, so we'd have that clear plan, right? So my hope is, as I go on today, is to give you some specific ideas on so you can have a plan, so you can move forward with that. And then that's also where I do my mentor coaching. You know, maybe it's something where you need you kind of have a lot of the pieces of the puzzle, but you don't quite know where to go or which piece to start with. I hear a lot with people that I work with. So you know what? Consider mentor coaching with me if that's the case. You know, if you really need that clear plan, it can make all the difference in the world when you have a path moving forward. So that's that in terms of focus and how to get that way. But now in terms of like I said, getting ourselves out there, right? At the end of the day, I want you to think about like this, right? Is we want to get ourselves to the point where we're in front of more people, right? And that's a piece right there. I talked in the beginning about, you know, the opportunity that this time of the year brings for people. And when I've done some of these things that I'm going to share here, and you know, specifically as I can, is I've had some of my biggest months and my best months, you know, in terms of coaching, in terms of income, in the last month of the year, because I've hustled. And when you hustle and you're aggressive, especially when everyone else slows down and you speed up, you could stand out even more, you know. So especially if you're working in the online world, I always like the online world is very saturated in terms of people striving to get your attention, you know. So when things slow down a little bit more, you speed up and you can stand out. And of course, there's you look at, I want you to take a look at the stores that you get emails from, right? And I get emails from stores that, you know, I'm on their email list, if you will, on a daily basis, year-round, like year-round on a daily basis, right? And so you can't tell me that you're afraid to email people, you know, once a week when they're getting emails from, you know, stores that, you know, 99.9% of the time they're just deleting, right? So in other words, why do they do that? Because they're in front of people. And if we didn't want to be on those lists as an example, then we wouldn't be on them. We'd unsubscribe. And we do it all the time, probably not often enough, but we do it all the time. So in other words, when you're in front of people, that's the way to be. And right now, so we've got to take a look at one thing. Let's take a look at your email list, right? If you have an email list and you have been using it, great. Continue to use it, and let's start to look at how we can continue to use it in terms of what we're going to be offering them. Maybe you've got a product. Maybe you come up with a product, right? Black Friday's coming up. Why can't we offer a product? Why can't we offer something? Maybe you don't have something. Create something right now. Like literally create something. So it's almost like you were creating but instead of a free offer, just think about what would be, you know, the top 5 ways to blah, 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 put a strategy together. Think about these calls that I do on a weekly basis, right? Just think of a topic that you can do a live call on it and record it, and then turn that into a product, right? A company with a PDF, turn it into a PDF, go to Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, get it done. You can get it done in a couple days and do a product. Maybe you don't have it ready for Black Friday, but you could have it ready for, next week if you want, right? And it's something that's downloadable. You sell it for 39 bucks. Are you going to get, thousands of dollars off it? Well, it depends on how many people you have on your list, right? Maybe you got 10, 15, 20 people and you make a couple sales. But at the end of the day, who knows? One person that buys that little product that you created, you follow up with them, that could be your next client. And all of a sudden, whatever, you charge $1,500 for your coaching, and next thing you know, you just turn a one little thought into a little product, and you turn that into $1,600 and a brand new client, right? I mean, I'm trying to show you the hustle and the speed with which this works. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Entrepreneurship is about speed. Money likes speed. Money is fast, and it's fast moving. It's being transferred all around the world seconds at a time, right? Just all electronically, and you've got to move to keep up with that. So the pace, if you notice, even my talking right now, I'm fast right now because this is the pace I need you to work at. So that's the type of creativity that I want you to have. If you're sitting there going like, oh my God, Jeff, make a product? How would I do that? It's like, you get on Microsoft Word or whatever Mac equivalent is, and you start typing. You get on like Facebook Live, and you do a Facebook Live, and you just talk off the top of your head and see what comes out. Or you sit down and you bullet point out, a structure of the top 10 whatever, and then and under each point, under the top 10 ways to, I'm talking about. Let's say I'll talk to my audience. The top 10 ways to grow your audience as a coach, right? So the top 10 ways to, fill that in for your audience that you're going after. And under each of the top 10 points, I'm going to break that one point into, let's say, 3 to 5 different bullet points. And I'm just going to expand upon each of those points, right? Expand upon each of those points. I take that PDF, I make it pretty, like I said, at Fiverr.com. That could be like a $25, $39, $49 product. Heck, you could sell it for $300 if you want, if you feel it's valuable enough if someone buys it. But the point is that's how you can turn that into something. It doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that. That turns something into value, and that's what we're talking about here. So that's one way of just turning something into a product and starting to use your email list to do that. Going back to that email list, which is where I was going from there, is if you don't have an email list that you're using, what I want you to do is I want you to get an email list, meaning everyone has emails, meaning friends, family at a minimum, even if you're just starting your business. So what I'd be asking you here is you need to get on an email platform if you don't have it. I recommend Aweber, Aweber.com. I'll refer you there. Let them know I referred you. But with Aweber, it's a great platform to use your email database. And use it for a lot of different purposes, but that's where you can get onto Aweber as an example, get your contacts exported from your Gmail account or whatever email you use, all your friends and family contacts, upload them to an Aweber, right, and start sending emails. When I say start sending emails, it's like start writing a story and turn that into a point for your audience. And maybe you haven't identified your audience yet. Maybe you don't have a niche, a headline, as I like to call it, helping who with why specifically. But maybe you start off and say, hey guys, I'm launching my coaching business. Or you just let them know what you're doing as a coach and just talk about general personal development, right? But at the end of that, put an offer at the end. When I say put an offer at the end and say, hey, listen, you know what? For right now, maybe you don't have anything like a free offer or things that you've done, offer a complimentary coaching session. Say, hey, P.S. for those of you who are looking to, step it up this next year but don't want to wait until the new year, right? Everyone, in a month from now is be setting New Year's goals. Why would we wait for them? Why not start now? For those of you who are really serious about this, I'm offering a 30-minute or 60-minute complimentary session for you to learn how I might be able to help you if you were to hire me as your coach. Click here to learn more, and it takes you to your website, to the contact page. Or maybe you don't have a website, so you just, reply to this email and let me know kind of what you're going through and maybe why you'd like to create a conversation, right? So you don't know who's going to reply to that, right? I remember when I first started my email list, and I had like no relevant emails in terms of like business contacts. It was just like friends, family, personal training clients of mine, and I started emailing. And then my coach is like, well, why don't you offer your coaching? Just do something like I just said right here on the phone now. And I did something like that, and I had 2 people responded. One person hired me. And I'm like, holy crap. If I didn't do that, I didn't get that client, right? So like these little actions that can be very simple to do, even if you don't have AWeber, like take a bunch of your contacts. I mean, the reason why you need AWeber is because if you're emailing a bunch of people, even like 50 or more, you need something like that. But take 25 at a time and blind carbon copy them on a Gmail, if you will, and just send an email out that way. I mean, I'm not recommending that necessarily, but it's a way of getting in front of people and emailing them. But the point is put an offer there, or that's where you can say, hey guys, I just released my brand new product called the Top 10 blah blah blah. It's available for sale now, and you don't have anything set up. Get on free PayPal, and put a little link for them to check out for $39. There's ways of doing and taking action in a pace that kind of gets you off the ground. And the good part is, especially if you don't have any momentum right now, things like this can start to create some momentum for you. If you've got nothing going on, if things are slow, that's just it. Things are slow. Maybe things aren't slow. Maybe you're slow. And I'm not like judging you and I'm like calling you names right now. I want to make sure you understand that. I'm saying like if maybe you're slow, so speed up, right? We need to speed up. Like if you're tired, just speed up. Start moving. What's going to happen? Your heart rate's going to go up and you're going to wake up. You're going to get some blood flow. That's life. So that delivers oxygen to your brain, into your body, into your muscles, into your organs. Like that's what we need, blood flow. So get your heart pumping and speed it up and see what happens as a result of that. Let's talk about doing events. Some of the best things you can do is do an event. I just had a mentor coaching client of mine that I was talking with on Monday, yesterday, and it's like, we want to get them in front of people right now. They just hired me. We just came up with their headline, helping who with what specifically. We're excited about it. I'm like, hey, the best way to test this is to get in front of people. So you've heard me talk about the platform meetup.com before. So if you're doing some live events, and you're thinking, oh my God, live events, oh my God, I'm so scared of that. I've never done that before. Go to meetup.com. Get your headline. And this is the format, helping who with what specifically. If you haven't figured that out, this is a great platform to try it on, right? So if you're not sure of it, try it out on, right? Mine's helping coaches transition to a full-time business. What's yours? So you can't figure it out, try and figure it out. Try and make it as specific as possible. Use it as a title for your group. And literally, even today is Tuesday, right? Have a meetup this coming Sunday. In the U.S., Thanksgiving is on Thursday, in 2 days from now. But you know what? Then there's Black Friday, and then there's the weekend. So people are gone. They're family's gone back. There's some downtime. Have an event. Have an event at a Starbucks or a Panera. And the thing is, people know what's going on this weekend. They have plans. They know if they're available on Sunday or not. Or maybe you're like, no way, I can't do it on Sunday. You know what? Set it up for the middle or the beginning of next week, maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of next week. After the holiday's over, people have had some time off. They're going again. And like I said, it's those last 3.5 weeks before the end of the year, and the holidays come and hit us again. So it's a great opportune time to do that. So get on meetup.com as an example and set something up. And the reason I always say set it up for that soon, most people are thinking, oh my God, it's the holidays. Why would you have an event on Sunday as an example? I mean, don't have it on Thanksgiving, duh, right? But on Sunday, right? Why wouldn't you? People don't know what's going on 2-3 weeks from now unless you're setting up an event that's so compelling for them. Set the event up sooner than later, right? What it does is it doesn't give them time to think, meaning they know what's going on. They either want to come or they don't, and they register or they don't, right? So you're going to get the people that register or they don't. So you're going to know sooner than later if anyone's coming. And on a platform like that, or most platforms, or people that sign up, especially for a free event like that, it's 50% of the people that register will actually show up, and you can improve your odds by following up with them. If you have the numbers, call them, etc. When they sign up, and then also the day before and the day of, just to make sure they're coming as reminders. But either way, next thing you know, you could set it up for Sunday. Let's say you get 2 people there. That's the reality, right? You're going to get a handful or less people. Hopefully you get more, but that's the results I've seen with most people. And when I dealt with my clients, they get about a handful of people. The best results the first time I've seen people get is like 12, which is great. But even if my clients that have gotten 1 or 2 people, I'm like, that could be your next client. I've had a client that they got 2 people, and one of them ended up signing up with them as a new client. So this is what I'm talking about is like, your results will be rewarded by speed and not thinking, right? That's where we go from there. So that's why I want to give you the possibilities. Is it a guarantee? Absolutely not. But it will absolutely not happen if you don't do it. Absolutely, and it is absolutely very possible, and it's not even a far stretch. Like, oh my God, if I play the lottery, am I going to win? That's a stretch, right? But the reality of you getting in front of 1 or 2 people, if you went on meetup.com and set up a meeting, let's say, on Sunday or Tuesday of next week, the reality of you actually getting a few people there and one of them becoming your client isn't really that far of a stretch. Like, it's really not. So I want to kind of like show you like that. It's like, if you're thinking in your head like, oh, geez, yeah, that would never happen. No, I can't do this. It's too quick. I'll even give you a resource. Go to my university on sellingcoaching.com and in the search bar, type in meetup. I did a call on, I forget the title of it, but it's like how to do a meetup. And I had one of my clients that went up 2 weeks prior to the call, and show you how I think at that point she did 2 meetups. She had like 10 or 15 people in each group. I forget how much it was, and to this day, she's still well over like 500 people in her group, and here, like 8, 9 months later, right? So it's like that's where it all begins with one action. The other thing I want you to do is, can you set up some events? There's a really good opportunity in the next 3 weeks after the U.S. holiday Thanksgiving where, people are going, but you can do events. When I was doing live speaking engagements, face-to-face, like right now I'm all virtual, but when I was doing face-to-face stuff, I would always have events, at least a couple events in that, first 3 weeks of December. And even in the week between Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas and New Year's, that's a great also time to do an event as well. So don't think that, oh my God, it's the holiday, people aren't going to do this stuff. Remember, here's the reality of speaking engagements, right? When I'm talking to like 1, 2, 5 people, like that's the reality. Like when I was doing face-to-face, I was traveling, I was doing stuff, I was doing a lot of stuff with a lot of different speakers, a lot of really big speakers who had multi-million-dollar speaking seminar coaching companies. And that's when I was just starting off and doing some stuff with them, and they were getting, 40, 50 people at events sometimes. But the reality was these were their big events. They had 5, 6, 7 people on the phones, and they've had huge databases. I'm talking, 50,000, 200,000 people on their databases, if not more, some of them. And they're still on the phones, week after week, all day, calling people, in their database and outside of the database, looking to fill those seats. But the reality was, outside of those big events that they have, like maybe quarterly at the most, it's like they're flying places on the weekends, and they're going for, they're showing up, flying across country, speaking to 10, 15 people, right? And 10, 15 people is good. The reality is we're starting off, and we don't have much of a database, if any, and we're looking like, okay, we're calling some contacts, right, to get in front of some people. You know what? If you can show up to 2 to 5 people, one person, that's incredible. And I'm not saying, oh my God, you're just saying that. No, like that's incredible. If I have an opportunity to speak to one person, like even on a call like this today, if one person calls in, I'm happy. If no one calls in, I'm still happy because I know I'm gonna do this recording, and it's gonna get out, and it's gonna get out in front of people. And who knows how many people are listening to it behind the scenes. I mean, I can figure some of that stuff out, but the point is I'm serving, I'm educating, and if at a minimum, if I'm not growing my audience, I've got something that I can actually stay engaged and stay connected to my audience and communicate with my audience around, right? So so that's the other piece so for a live event, using meetup.com, it's also taking a look at your contacts, present contacts, past contacts, from careers, friends, people you haven't talked to in a while. Social media makes it so easy for us, for the most part, to find people and connect with people. So reach out to some people you haven't spoken to in a while. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know that, hey, you know what, I'm looking to, I own a seminar coaching company, and I work with people. Like I say, I work with coaches, helping them transition to full-time. If you don't know, you could I own a seminar coaching company, and I help people take it to the next step, or get clarity for the new year, or, come up with something that you can do that you can call people up and say, I'm looking to set up some events, right? who do you know that's looking for some speakers? Who do you know that's having an event that's looking for a speaker? Or I'm wondering, who do you know that's open to having a speaker like myself come in and speak to their employees or speak to their customers? Right? This is some of the phrases that I would use, right? And here's the thing about this, right? Maybe you're like, oh, I have some people in mind that might be good contacts. But the majority of the time, most people are listening to this would be like, oh, I don't really have anybody that I can call and say that to, right? Well, number one, you don't have to know where it can go. Before I had a solid headline and niche of helping coaches transition to full-time business, I didn't have one, right? I knew the value of it, but I didn't have one. And what I understood was, or came to understand, was that I didn't know where business would go, but what I was is I was young, I was ignorant, and I was passionate, and I was aggressive, and I would chase things. And this is why I'm showing whether it's really controlled and planned and like, I know who I'm going after, I know where they are, I know what I'm helping them with, or on the other end where it's just like, I have no freaking clue. What I'm showing you is you can still be successful with that if you take action, meaning if you're thinking of some contacts, I know you know people that you can call, and after you chit-chat for a minute and reconnect with them and saying, hey, I have as you may or may not know, I have a seminar and coaching company, and I'm really excited about what I'm doing with people, and I'm doing a last push, to get out and share my message with people, before the end of the year. And I'm wondering if you're open to, or who you might know who might be open to, looking for speakers, looking to do some seminars, and kind of see where it goes. And even if you think like, oh my God, the most least likely person, when you ask for help, you can say, I'm asking for some help. I'm wondering who you might know, or what ideas you might have, or who might you be able to connect me with, right? I want you to use some of these words that I'm sharing there. Those are specific phrases that I would use in that way, with those specific words, like who you might know, who you might be able to connect me with, that might be open to this. You never know where you're going to get connected to. And I remember when I used to do that, once I started realizing the value, especially around this time of year, people would connect me with people. Like, you know what, you might want to try this person. Or I know this person had some events got in. I got connected with some realtors, and I did an event before Christmas once. I remember I got 2 clients out of it, and it was with Keller Williams, just a real estate group. You may have heard of them. And then that turned into me going to more of a regional office, doing some stuff, and I did some stuff on the national level with them. And I had a good run with Keller Williams, getting some clients out of it. And it was with realtors, and I wasn't working with realtors, but it was just by that talking to a personal training client of mine who was a realtor who said, you know what, I'll hook you up with my I don't know, her boss or whoever it was in their local office. And she's like, yeah, sure, come on in. We got a meeting next week. She's like, there's 5 of us realtors in there, and she's like, it's a 30-minute meeting, but if you want to talk to the last 10 minutes, I'll have you come in. What are you going to talk on? I'm like, I don't know. What are you guys, what are you challenged with, right? What are you looking for, improvement on? What are challenges you're seeing with some of your realtors? And she gave me a few bullet points, and I'm like, you know what? I can talk around that. She's like, great. And that's literally how easy it was. And look at that one little conversation led to 2 clients from that. Yes, I got 2 clients out of those 5 people that were there. So the stuff I'm telling you isn't like, I'm not smoking crack over here. So this is real stuff. And then that turned into, like I said, more of a regional and then a national level, doing some stuff with Keller Williams and getting clients out of it, right, for the next, I think, 2 or 3 years or whatever it was. The same thing I did stuff with State Farm. That's exactly how it happened. So when I'm talking about this hustle here, here's the thing is you can't know where it's going to go. That's the thing about it. You can't know where it's going to go. You've just got to know where to start. That's my message to you right now. And some of the ideas I'm giving you right now, yeah, they might not be super specific, but it's just like different ideas of a starting point. Hopefully, as I'm talking about this stuff, it's spurring on some different thoughts for you, or different contacts, if you will, that will you can create the conversation from. And like I say, what I would say is make a list of these people. So go through your contacts. Literally go to your Gmail or wherever your contacts are, and go to your contacts, even on your phone, and just literally start scrolling and start looking at names, and any name that you think like, oh, you know what, they're a fan of mine, or we're good friends, or you know what, I liked them, or we had a good connection, or ooh, they were connected to some people, or I haven't talked to them in a long time. Anything like that. start making a list of those people, 5, 10, 15 at a time. And then when you got some office hours, like literally sit down and make some calls using some of the phrases that I spoke about there. And yeah, you might like, ooh, I can't make a call. How am I going to say that? You might be scared to death. That's why I tried to give you at least some specific phrases you could say, like, hey, how are you doing? I own a seminar coaching company. Obviously, don't go right into that. Connect with them a little bit, reconnect with them. But then go from there and ask for their help. Hey, listen, I wanted to ask for your help. People love that. Well, they don't love it necessarily, but when you ask for help, people want to help. So listen, it's great reconnecting with you. Listen, I'm calling because I want to ask for your help. I've just launched, or as you may know, I launched my seminar and coaching company, and I'm really passionate about helping who with what specifically. And I'm looking to, over the last month of the year, really get out and share my message with more people because I'm passionate about helping these people and helping them move forward with their lives, blah, 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 right? And I'm wondering who you might know. Right? There's the script right there. You don't have to feel comfortable with it or like it or feel good with it. What I'm saying is that if you can do that, and I'm telling you, my mentoring clients, when I've helped them with some of the specific stuff, because when you look at specific contacts, sometimes you can make it more of a specific approach or a specific strategy. But when I've helped them with this stuff, and the ones that have actually like swallowed their pride and got past their fears and did it anyways, the stuff that they created is amazing, and it has led to business. And I know for some of them it's leading to business because it's getting them in front of new audiences, and that's the name of this game. And the last thing you could do is, I'll throw out there before I open up the call, is you could do an online event, right? So maybe you're not doing face-to-face stuff, right? But you could do an online event. Look at, what am I doing right now? Like I'm doing an online event. That's what this is, right? I do it every week. But what about for you? Like you could do an online event. You could do online Facebook Live as an example, and you could promote it to just if you're on Facebook, you've got probably hundreds of friends, if not 1,000 friends, or who knows, many thousands of friends. Who knows what you have on there? Promote a Facebook Live. Do a Black Friday Facebook Live. Do a pre-holiday Facebook Live. Do a Facebook Live next week and do it around the top 3 things, blah blah blah, you need to know about blah blah blah, right? Or the easiest way to get started on a goal, or why wait till New Year's? Set your goals December 1st instead of January 1st, right? I'm just throwing ideas out there, and it doesn't have to be like this rocket science stuff. It's just like you getting out there, and then at the end of that Facebook Live, you invited people. Maybe people show up live, maybe they don't, but maybe you do the live. There's a recording anyways, and at the end, you throw an offer for your coaching. And say, listen, if any of you really want to take advantage of this, but you need some guidance, you know what? I'm available for one-on-one coaching. I'll offer you a 30-minute complimentary session. Just email me below. You put it in the comments, and boom, next thing you know, there you go. Maybe you get some contacts from that, or at least you get some people that interact with it, and you can start messaging them back and forth. And who knows, you can at least grow your audience a little bit that way. Or maybe that leads to a conversation, to a complimentary session, and you've got a brand new client, right? Maybe you don't have any people to get in front of, so maybe you do like a little mini online summit, like a free mini online summit. You do it December 12th. I'm just making that date up, mid-December, so it gives you at least a couple of weeks to prepare for that because you need a little bit of time for that. You do it on like Zoom as an example. Zoom, just Google Zoom. I don't know, Zoom.net or whatever it is. But either way, or freeconferencecall.com. That's what I'm on right now, right? And you set up a free conference call, and you find 5 other coaches. You find even better if you know your headline and who you're going after, right? 5 other people or experts that are doing what you're doing in that area, and you're doing a quick, a quick 2-hour maybe online summit, and each person gets 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that. Maybe you do it with 2 or 3 people. And hopefully they would share with their audiences if they have an audience. That's the idea. Is ideally you do it with some people that have an audience already. You don't have to require them to do that. Just set it up. Put a little schedule together. Do it on freeconferencecall.com. Do it on Zoom. Zoom, it's free for under 40 minutes. So maybe you do it. You do 3 experts plus yourself. That's 4 experts for 30 minutes. You do it at 4 different times. So you keep it under the 40-minute mark, so you don't have to pay for Zoom. I'm trying to give you it so it's cheap, it's simple, good quality. You get them on an iPhone or a tablet. You get video. You record it. And right there, you can turn that into a product afterwards, right? And even beforehand, you can pre-sell the recordings. So you could do the free summit, sign up for this, and once you get the signups, and you can say like, this is all being recorded, and you're going to sell it after the recordings for $99, and you set it up on PayPal. I mean, I know I'm not going into all the specifics, but I'm talking like you could set that up in a couple weeks, and you're like, well, who do I talk to? I don't know. Who do you know? Like, who do you know? Get online. Reach out to some people. People love that stuff. Like, and even experts, people that have authored books, go on Amazon.com and find the top 5 authors, the top 10 authors that are authoring books around the area of people that you want to help, right? And reach out to them. Find them on social media and send them a Facebook message. Like, I've done that before with people, and they've responded. That's how I got some testimonials for my book. This is before even Facebook was like really as big as it is now, you know. And I would call people and say, hey, I'm looking to connect with Dennis Waitley, with Jim Rohn, you know what I mean? And I would connect with those people. You know, I get testimonials from one of them. I got a testimonial from Dennis Waitley for my book, and some other people that and so the point is that there's a couple different ideas you could do that you can even just do for free, involving other people and or yourself, right? So maybe you're not doing the online summit with other people, but maybe you're going to do it with just by yourself. You're going to, instead of Facebook Live, you're doing a 1-hour event on, you know, whatever. I'm just going to go back to what I said earlier, the top 10, blah, blah, blah. And you do the same content, and then you record it, and then maybe because you took the time to do the PDF, you take the recording and the PDF, maybe use it for your free offer, right? That's my free offer. I said that on my website on sellingcoaching.com on the homepage. I got the Ultimate Startup Guide for New Coaches. That was a call I did, a conference call I did a few years back. It was all for coaches, and I had all the notes done for it, so I just got those done up kind of like pretty, and I did the PDF. I did that into PDF, and then I took the recording and I turned that into, I had it as an MP3, and that was my free giveaway. And if I didn't do that, I could turn that into a product, right? So if you don't want to do that, you can turn that into a product. You sell it for $49. You sell it for $99. You know, depending on how comprehensive it is, who knows what you could sell it for. But I'm trying to show you, like, that's just a simple way to kind of turn something into nothing. And at a minimum, start to grow your audience, get in front of more people, and at a maximum, not only do that, but also get potential revenue and paying clients from it.